Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, secrets to her glasses. You can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine game. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes your talk of the town. And we're live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabareting. And we're live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Well, let's get cooking. This platter was originally from a discounted line of dinnerware that was once sold at Bed Bath & Beyond Bad Taste. The completer pieces included a gravy boat that was shaped like the Titanic and 2 bottomless salt and pepper shakers, strangely both named Hector. And you know how bossy condiment bottoms can be. So many questions and so many disappointing answers.
Hey everybody, it's Lucy Bell LeMay here with another episode of Bitchin' in the Kitchen. Before we start, we have to have a cocktail. Our recipe today, lasagna, spam, musubi, dirt in a cup. I just don't want to start a fire. It's Elvis Presley's favorite snack. Oh my lord. 1/3 cup of milk. Mix that up good. In the oven it goes. While that's cooking, I'm going to go in there and get me a quickie with Bo and I'll be right back. Ouch! It looks good. It's so good. But hot right now.
Hi there. Welcome to Amber Live. But first, I want you to like, share, subscribe. Thank you very much. So, what do hypocrisy and a naked backside have in common? They're both part of this week's news briefs. Meet Bridget Ziegler. Bridget is not only a county school board member in Florida, but also the co-founder of the group Moms for Liberty. Their byline is unifying, educating, and empowering parents. Wow, that sounds like a good thing, doesn't it? It does. However, Moms for Liberty is also a major force across the country in presenting and passing anti-LGBTQ plus legislation. Bridget is married to this man, Christian Ziegler, who is chairman of the Florida Republican Party. The Florida GOP is responsible for pushing and passing such sunshine state laws as Don't Say Gay and all the implications of it. Bridget and Christian, isn't that a nice name, Christian? Were both in the news recently, not because of their anti-gay activities, but their literal gay activities. The Zieglers and an unnamed longtime female friend have been having a 3-way affair, and this unnamed friend has accused Mr. Ziegler of raping her in October. The trio had been planning another of their sexual encounters when at the last minute, Mrs. Ziegler said she would not be able to make it, prompting the friend to call off the plans entirely, telling Christian by text, "Sorry, I was mostly in for her." Minutes after sending the message, the woman said she went to let her dog out and found Ziegler outside her apartment. She has alleged he then entered the apartment, forcefully bent her over a bar stool, and raped her. Security footage shows Ziegler arriving and entering woman's apartment and leaving 38 minutes later. The victim then called her sister and told her what had happened, and then went to a local hospital where she completed a sexual assault kit. Moms for Liberty and the GOP, telling us to do as they say, not what they do. Here's Valtteri Bottas, a Formula One driver who has raised $150,000 for the men's health charity Movember after a bot-ass 2024 calendar featuring photographs of him bearing his backside sped off the shelves. An initial run of 10,000 with €5 from each going to prostate cancer research swiftly sold out with more printed. Botus said his mother had some initial reservations, however. She doesn't really understand English that well, and she had seen some videos I'd posted. She was quite confused and protective, asking me, "Are you sure that's the path you want to go?" So I explained the charity thing, and it's fine. I'd say it's mighty fine if you ask me. And that's this week's news briefs. Now it's time to talk to Russell. Russell, come on in.
Hello, Amber. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I tell you, I'm so excited about tonight's show. We've got some great interviews. But let's get to it. But first, tell people the best way to watch the show.
Well, the best way to watch the show is on YouTube. And the reason you want to watch on YouTube is because on YouTube, everything's in full HD. So you get a better picture. And then all your friends are probably in the chat room on YouTube. So you can have a whole conversation with them, with Amber, with me. We're all in there having a grand old time while we're watching the show. And after the show, check out our TikTok, our Instagram, our Facebook, our website. There's so much to see and so much more to Amber Live than you could ever imagine. And if you can't watch Amber Live on your way to work this week, you can listen to her on the Amber Live interviews, which are available anywhere great podcasts are available. I put those interviews out on Tuesday mornings. I cut them out from the show, and it's just the interviews with our guests, but it's still worth listening to.
Yeah, some great guests we've had over the past 3 years. All right, Russell, one more thing you wanted to talk about?
Of course, the bustiers. We love our bustiers. Our bustiers help us keep this show going, and we'd love it if you'd become a bustier. It is the giving season, so why not give to Amber Live? Use that Venmo at RJD Pro, or you can use your credit card on our website, amberlive.tv. Just look for the donation button. And it is pretty important that we get some help here because we got bills every month, and that's no fun.
Right. All right, Russell, let's talk about tonight's show. Tell us about the guests.
Well, first, do you want to tell us about Christine Petty?
Oh, that's right. A couple of weeks ago, we had Christine Petty on the show. Oh, God, it was a full hour interview. And she was talking about her upcoming show, Snow Business, I believe it's called, down in New York City. That's going to be live streamed this week. And so check it out. She was a great interview, and I'll be live streaming it this week as well.
I believe she's at 54 Below, right? So if you go to their if you go to 54 Below's website, you can find the link to get a ticket to live stream her show, and then you can have a great time watching Christine Petty. And now tonight's guests, we have two incredible guests tonight. The first one's a Broadway actor, Wade McCollum, who currently is in an off-Broadway show called Make Me Gorgeous that is about a real-life character named Kenneth Marlowe, who was the Mr. Madam, a madam of a gay prostitution ring in Hollywood. And he was also a hairdresser to the stars, and his story is incredible. And Wade's story is incredible, too, because when this ends, he's going into a new Broadway show soon. So find out what all that's about. And then later on in the show, we have Cory Allen, who is a Secret Service agent who, don't tell anyone he was here. And he used to guard Michelle Obama. He was on her detail, and he has a new book out about his experiences in life called Breaking Free. So you'll want to hear all about that as well. Two great interviews. Yes.
And the return of Rusty Peen.
Yeah, he's sneaking in tonight. You never know where he's going to stick his peen.
All right. And we got Rocco, Boog and Shug. But let's get started with that first interview right now. Wade McCollum is an actor, singer, composer, and writer. He currently is in the off-Broadway play Make Me Gorgeous, the true story of Kenneth, Mr. Madam Marlowe. The play tells the true story of Kenneth Marlowe, a private hairdresser to the stars, the madam of a notorious gay prostitution ring in Hollywood, an author, a hustler, a female impersonator, a private in the United States Army, a call boy, a Christian missionary, a mortuary cosmetologist, and a newspaper columnist. And in the final decade of their life, Marlowe lived as a woman, having transitioned to become Kate Marlowe. Whew. Wade McCollum, come on in.
Yeah, Hi, it's good to see you.
Hi there. Well, we're going to talk about how you met Mr. Marlowe or Ms. Marlowe. And but first, how do you get to be in an off-Broadway show? Where did your theater career begin?
Oh my gosh, long ago. I think I've been acting professionally for over 30 years, which is kind of hard to believe. But
Yes.
this
What was
sort
your
of,
first, some of your first gigs, professional gigs?
yeah, they were like right out of, I graduated conservatory when I was about 19. And Donnie, who wrote this play and produced this play, Make Me Gorgeous, the one we're doing, he produced the very first professional job I did outside of conservatory, which was Blood Brothers in Portland, Oregon, at a Triangle Productions, which is his theater company. So actually, my very first professional job was with him.
How amazing. And for 30 years, you've been making money as a performer. We've got a few pictures of some of your past productions. So, Russell, if you'd show some of those, you can tell us the story.
Ooh, Hedwig and Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That's one of my favorite shows. I think that's such a brilliant piece of theater.
Where did you perform Hedwig?
I did that also at Triangle Productions in Portland a few times. I did it in Los Angeles at the Celebration Theater. I did it in Ashland, Oregon. I've done a bunch of productions of Hedwig. I love that show.
Very good. Next picture.
Ah, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Now, where did you do that?
This is the Broadway National Tour.
Oh, the flip-flop dress. Many years ago, I made my own flip-flop dress that weighed probably 50 pounds. It was just...
Yes.
Oh, but how exciting. One of my favorite shows. Show us another picture.
Oh, Bat Boy. Wow, that's going way back. Yeah, Bat Boy the musical. And that's Susanna Mars, the legend. She's incredible actor, cabaret performer. She played my mom in Bat Boy the musical at Portland Center Stage. That was my first equity job, actually, right after I did Hedwig at Triangle.
And such a fun show as well.
Such a good piece of theater.
Yes. All right, next, Russell.
The MC in Cabaret, of course. Yes. Yeah.
Now, all of those roles that you've played, is there one that you just haven't gotten yet that you really want?
Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, to be honest, I've played most of the parts that I had a goal to play. I really wanted to play Pryor in Angels in America, and I had the honor of doing that about 10 years ago, actually. There I am. Yes, and I played opposite my husband as Lewis, and it was such an incredible experience. That play is just so revelatory, and it was really transformational. The play for me as a young gay child in Southern Oregon was really kind of saved me. It gave me a lens into possibility in terms of queer life that I had never seen myself reflected so clearly or at all in any way. So it was very important. And
Yes. Now, how did you come to know Marlowe?
well, I mean, like most of us, I didn't know anything about them. I had no idea who Kenneth Marlowe was, Kate Marlowe. I'd never read any of their books. And for some reason, they have just been sort of, I don't know, straight washed out of history. I don't know exactly what the reason might be, but I had never heard of them before last year when Donnie wrote me kind of out of the blue. I was doing the My Fair Lady Lincoln Center Theater Tour, and he asked if I had a window of time that I could come out and maybe do an out-of-town tryout of Make Me Gorgeous. And that was the first time I'd ever encountered this character. When I read the script, I read also the biography that Donnie wrote about Kenneth Kate. And I was immediately so curious and drawn into this character who lived so boisterously, so flamboyantly, so incredibly, had such an incredible life, born in 1926. And I couldn't believe that we've never heard of them. So
We've got some pictures of the Marlowes. Let's look at some of those. That very handsome man, little Burt Lancaster look there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Phyllis Diller. Oh my goodness. I grew up in Phyllis Diller's hometown of Lima,
Oh my
Ohio.
God.
It's
She's
quite the
incredible.
character. And then he wrote a book.
Yes, Mr. Madam, that is his autobiography, 1964, published in 1964. Oh, and there's Kenny Marlowe. We spend a good amount of time in the show in these exotic strip days. There's a Gypsy Rose Lee number, a Sally Rand fan dance number. I've never seen that picture. Oh.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Now, where did they perform?
Most of their drag career was spent in Calumet City, which in the 40s was like the Las Vegas of the Midwest. It was most bars, most strip clubs per capita. It had the lowest police population in the country. And it was just known as this place to go gamble and see crazy, crazy shows. A lot of the clubs were owned by the mob. And she spent a good, 3-4 years there working for some big time producers who she finds out in our show were, mobsters, and ends up getting sort of tangled up.
We've got the trailer for your play, so let's watch that.
Cool.
Now. Yes.
Darlings, here I am, the queen with a silvery crown, with the light of the moon and the stars up above, dressing our love in a sparkling gown. Where we can be boys and we can be girls. We can wear tie pins and we can wear pearls. Short hair or tresses, trousers or dresses. We powder and paint, you think we are what we ain't.
I got a job at Arlene's beauty salon, which was a 24-hour beauty salon. Yeah, and Arlene, she was a very butch woman who wore plaid and had a Puerto Rican stripper girlfriend in Chicago. Yeah, my shift was from 8 p.m. until 4 a.m. I was used to those kind of hours. And my clients, these were my people. Whores, hustlers, swing shift workers, buyers at department stores, all telling me how they needed to stretch their money. I need to stretch my money. I'm always out on the corner. My hair goes down with the rain. No umbrella here. Can you do it the fast elastic? A fast elastic kind of hair to do? Yeah. I gave her a big old lacquered hairdo that would weather all the weather. Mr. Madam? Yes. Address? He'll be right over. Mr. Madam? Yes. Address? Someone to be... hold please. Mr. Madam? Yes. Someone to be... hold please. Mr. Madam? Yes. No, hold please. No, not you. You. Hold please. Mr. Madam? Yes. No. Mr. Madam? Oh, dear. In the middle of all of that, I get arrested. Not again. And what did I do this time?
How long is that show?
I know that's a long trailer. It's 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute show.
One-person show.
Yeah. I blink in and out of like 10, I'd say 10 people sort of that recur in their life, but about 35, 40 people that just kind of have cameos. It's really fun.
And it's a shame the costume budget couldn't afford to dress you the whole time, you know.
I do take on and off my clothes many times, and makeup. I'm most proud, I think, of putting on lashes twice during the show.
Oh
and
my
they
gosh!
for the
In
most
front of
part,
an audience with everything else. How remarkable! So where is it playing? What theater?
it's a Playhouse 46, which is right on the corner of 8th and 46th Street in Midtown. It's a great block. It's Restaurant Row, so there's all these great restaurants right nearby, and it's a great little off-Broadway.
What's the house seat?
I think it's
How many now?
180, maybe.
Well, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's nice.
Yeah, it's
Very
real.
intimate. Oh, when did you open?
We opened on the 15th officially, I think. So just a couple of weeks, I think. Yeah.
Oh my! And is it a limited run, or will you just see what happens?
Yeah, we'll run until December 31st, and then I start rehearsals for a Broadway show.
Can you tell me which one?
Yeah, it's called Water for Elephants, based on the book. We did it in Atlanta, and I actually play a character named Wade, which is kind of cool and weird.
Well, at least when someone says Wade, you know they're talking about you.
Exactly.
So, tell me more. Tell me more about that. Who wrote the book and music for that?
So Sarah Gruen wrote the novel. She's amazing. She's been very involved. Rick Ellis wrote the book, who wrote Jersey Boys. I worked with him in 2007 for Jersey Boys. And so Rick wrote the book. It's beautiful. The music is by a theater company called Pigpen Theater Company, and there are 7 really incredible composer lyricists. And directed by Jessica Stone, who was the Tony nominee last year for Kimberly Akimbo. It's a really cool team of people.
Well, how exciting. When do you see that opening on Broadway?
That opens, I think, officially March 24th.
So you have a very short turnaround there. Very good. Well, Wade, thank you so much. I know you have to get to the theater, so thank you so much for talking. Fascinating story, not the play, yes, about Marlowe, but of you yourself. But thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amber. It was a joy. It's so good to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you, Wade. Wasn't that fascinating? I'd love to be able to see that show. Oh, right. Russell, come on in.
Hey, yeah, Wade's amazing, isn't he? The stuff he's done and the stuff he's about to do is just incredible.
And that play that he's in now, they've got to bring someone else, because that sounds like such a great story that it just can't stop. That's fascinating. All right, Russell, bring us up to date.
Well, like Wade, there's more to come on Amber Live. We have Rusty Peen still coming. We've got Cory Allen coming. We've got Rocco, Boog and Shug, more of Amber, of course. So you just never know what's going to happen here. But you know what keeps all of that coming is the bustiers. So we need you to help us out. Use that Venmo at RJD Pro, please. And go to the website, amberlive.tv, and you can donate if you would like. And if you are still short on Christmas presents, it's time. It's getting close. You got to order now. But you can go to the Amber Live store at amberlive.tv, and we've got some great gifts available. There's so many different styles. I was just looking today. I think we have 107 different products available on the store now. So go check out the Amber Live store. You're going to love it, and it makes a great gift. But order now because, time's ticking.
Yes, and the new Rocco Zamboni collection as well.
There is a new Rocco Zamboni collection as well. I don't have a picture of that right here, but it just, and there's an Amber collection, a Rusty Peen collection, all your favorites, and maybe we'll get a Lucy Bell collection one of these days too.
All right. Speaking of Rusty Peen, let's see what he's been up to.
Hark the herald angels sing. Glory to the newborn King.
Oh, that was just beautiful, Ms. Hagen. You are in Around the Sun Season 3. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited.
What a great way to start the holiday season, and what a great way to end today's auditions.
Oh, to that end, though, I do think I met a Mr. Peen out in the hallway who was interested in auditioning as well.
Who?
Mr. Peen.
Peen?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think I have anyone else on my list, but well, there he is. Okay, then. Let's bring Mr. Peen in.
Yeah, bud, that's me, Rusty Peen. It's an old family name.
It's your real name or your stage name?
That's the real name, bud. Dude, there used to be the Harrys and the Peens, and we used to be part of the same clan, but we had a falling out with the Harrys, so now it's just the Peens, bud.
Just a straight up Peen.
Straight up Peen, yeah?
Okay. What brings you to Around the Sun auditions today?
Hey, bud, I saw the flyer in the trailer park that you were doing auditions for Around the Sun, and Amber LeMay told me, dude, Rusty, you should show up and show that Brad Friends a thing or two about your acting chops.
We love Amber LeMay here at Around the Sun, and to that end, any friend of Amber's is a friend of ours. So what prepares you for this role that you're auditioning for, the role of the barfly?
Dude, every morning I wake up at the crack of dawn and drink a big old bowl of scotch.
Oh, a method actor. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but there's so much meth in all the acting that I do.
Who is your favorite meth actor?
There's crystal meth, and
From
there's...
the RuPaul show.
Yeah, bud, crystal meth has all the drugs.
So then, Mr. Peen, Around the Sun Season 3 has a bit of a holiday flair to it. I'm wondering if you could tell us about any holiday traditions you might have.
Yeah, bud, at Christmas time, all of us little peen pods used to roll in the snow. It used to roll up all these big old igloos, and then we get inside and hotbox the shit out of it.
And they didn't melt?
Well, yeah, they do melt pretty quick, bud, so you gotta do it fast. You get high and then you fly.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake, bud. Get in, get out. Do what you gotta do.
It's Brad, not Bud.
Oh, okay, Brad, bud.
How about holiday songs? Do you have any favorite Christmas carols?
Yeah, the 12 Days of Christmas, because that's an easy one to remember, bud. That's the one that goes 8 shots of vodka, 7 shots of vodka, 6 shots of vodka, 5 shots of gin, 4 shots of rum, 3 shots of scotch, 2 cans of beer, and a whole lot of booze for me.
Well, Mr. Peen, all I can say is our people will call your people.
Sweet, dude. Sounds like a win.
And it was great seeing our good friend Brad Forenza as well there. Thank you so much. All right, let's get on with that next interview. Cory Allen has spent the majority of his career in the military and law enforcement, including an assignment with the Secret Service to guard First Lady Michelle Obama. From surviving Don't Ask, Don't Tell to applying for spousal benefits for his husband, Cory has a story to tell. And he told it in his first book, Breaking Free, a saga of self-discovery by a gay Secret Service agent. We've got a lot to talk about. Cory Allen, come on in.
Good afternoon, Amber. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you. All right. I'm going to go start from the beginning. I want to know how someone becomes a Secret Service agent. So in your youth, where did you grow up and what prompted you to pursue that career?
Yeah, it wasn't anything I set out to do. It was never a childhood dream. I had a lot of early interaction with law enforcement growing up. Just we had domestic violence in the home. So I was calling the police often, and I had those early interactions, which really left an imprint on me as an individual. Floundering around, I went into the military at 21. A few years later, I applied to the same police department that I used to call for help. And then I worked for them for 6 years, kind of role reversal there. And then I finished my bachelor's degree in 2007. And then I started applying to go federal, FBI and the Secret Service. And then the Secret Service was the first to offer me a job. And I moved to Miami in January of 2010. For the Secret Service, and that's what kicked off my federal career. That was now 14 years ago. It's been a minute.
Wow. Yes, time does fly. When did you come out as gay in that time?
Ooh, I was deeply closeted because I grew up in a very conservative part of, it was just outside of Richmond, Virginia. So I was closet. I could have been fired for being gay at any point in my employment as a police officer there. And of course, during the military, don't ask, don't tell. So it wasn't until Supreme Court cases in 2013 and 2015 helped give me a little bit more confidence that I was now out of probation. The Secret Service couldn't fire me at that point. But it wasn't until that I started protecting the Obamas that I was surrounded by just an amazing group of people who made me feel warm and welcome and accepted, that I really came out. Actually, it was probably 2017, 18 that I really stepped out and was able to be my true, authentic self.
Now, while you were in the military and working for that sheriff's department, how did you feel as being a closeted gay man? Did you feel threatened, or you just laid low?
Both. So I ended up perfecting living two separate lives. So as soon as I could, I bought a condo in the west end of Richmond, which was just more progressive and safe. So I moved out of the county where I was working. And so at that point, I was then dating my future husband. And we just lived our lives completely separately. And I just made sure to not allow those two to intersect. Of hearing the things that were being said, even in roll call, my former supervisor using the F word in the middle of roll call, and just hearing the gay slurs, but I just knew it was not a safe environment for me. And then it would have also ended my career. So I just had to deal with it, but also keep my head down and avoid the fray, if you will.
Now, when you were in the military, did you know of other gay men?
No, I had
really
no known role models, both in my policing career or in the military. I just didn't have access to that. This is before the advent of smartphones. So no, I didn't have role models, and I didn't know anybody else who was gay in the military. So I just dated women and did what I thought I was supposed to be doing to, stay undercover, if you will.
A lot of us have been there.
Unfortunately.
Have you heard back from anybody you served in the military with, or at the sheriff's department since you've come out?
Oh yeah, just flew back from Virginia late last night. Went home for Thanksgiving to spend time with my family, and I still run into police officers that I worked with 15 years ago, and to hear the stories that it's been so long with this new generation of officers who come in. But my sister's husband, I guess, works in the school, and the school resource officer asked, and he was like, "Oh no, I never met Cory, but I definitely know of him." So my legacy apparently is still there.
Very good. All right. Why the Secret Service? What propelled you to say, I want to be in the Secret Service?
The allure of it. It was something mysterious. It was something high profile, and it was so prestigious. And my track record, my resume was spotless, and I was doing a great job of getting, great performance ratings and just doing everything I needed to do. So I would have gone FBI or Secret Service, but at Secret Service called first. I took the job, and it was 3 months later that the FBI called and offered me a job. And I was already in the Secret Service Academy, and I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm going to stay here. But it was the allure of travel. I knew that they gave me the option of where I wanted to live. I had to pick from 6 different locations. I chose Miami. So some of that stuff the FBI wouldn't have offered. And surely you wouldn't have gotten to travel the world like I did with the Secret Service.
Now, why is the Secret Service in Miami?
So they've got field offices all over the world, in most major cities, and even in small towns, because there's financial infrastructure of the United States is what they do when they're not doing protection. So when I wasn't protecting foreign heads of state or the president or whoever was in town, I was doing counterfeit currency investigations, credit card fraud, mortgage fraud. There's any number of crimes that affect the financial infrastructure of the U.S. So that's
not quite as exciting as hanging out with Michelle Obama.
Correct.
Tell us about how did you get assigned to the Obama White House?
It was in the midst of the campaign in 2016. I was bouncing. We would do 3 weeks on the road, 3 weeks back home. And then you do these rotations all year long. And my time was coming due to move to a permanent protective detail. And so I had witnessed on the campaign trail how Trump was handling himself, how those rallies went and felt as we were securing them and, doing our job. And then the Hillary campaign was seeing how that was shaping up, and you get a front row seat to all this stuff, interacting with staff members and just getting a real feel for how it might be, and knowing Obama was going to come out of office in January of 2017. So I was like, well, they have a place in Hawaii. I know we're going to be going there a lot. I love Hawaii. I also wanted to stay in DC a bit because my then husband, that's where we lived. So I was like, I'm going to opt to go sign up to help form the Obama division and do that. And then in August of 2016, I got a phone call that I was being reassigned to the Obamas, and that's fortunately worked out very well, I believe.
And there you are with Michelle. Tell us about meeting the Obamas for the first time.
I had had interactions with the president when I was in Miami and just working these different sites around town. So the butterflies of getting all nervous and tensed up when you meet these hyper politicians and these world leaders. So it became a little bit more normalized just because it was the profession. But then just being able to spend several years with them and just seeing how genuine and down to earth and grounded they are, just such honorable and super intelligent. It was just an amazing time to get to travel the world, to be able to protect them and make sure that they could do what they needed to do. They knew our first names. It was all very professional, but also there was respect for us doing our jobs, and them, of course, giving them the privacy and everything they need to do what they need to do. It was just an amazing opportunity. I'm forever thankful I got to do that. And that picture you showed was from San Francisco, and I had left 6 months prior. And so she came out to San Francisco, and then I went and got to go meet her and catch up with my peers and go backstage. And she remembered exactly who I was. She's like, "Oh my God, Cory, how are you? How have things been? What are you doing now?" So it's just 6 months later, and she still remembered who I was. Was beautiful, and that's where that picture came from.
That would not surprise anyone. Well, tell me about the boundaries. You don't go with them there. You don't listen to conversations. Tell me something about that.
Yeah, it's a known, and that's part of the job and the profession is no matter what's heard, and driving her from Washington D.C. to New York City, she's sitting right behind me. I'm driving the car. She's in, you're of course going to hear things, but you just tune it out. It's none of your business. It's not like you're going to turn on and repeat any of it to anybody. It's just respecting each other and knowing, even as I wrote the book, I knew that that was a line I was not willing to cross out of respect for Michelle and Barack Obama, but also my peers who are still to this day doing that job and that mission. I certainly wouldn't sacrifice our integrity or that of the agency to spill the dirt. Right. And I had a publisher who emailed me back, and they were like, "Oh, we want more dirt on the Obamas." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, you're not going to get it." And I did not go with that publisher because it would have sold more books. And so I was very cognizant as I walked that line.
And how about the girls, the children?
They were great. No problem. I went to Harvard with Malia her first semester. Went up to Boston, spent a lot of time up there, just making sure she was safe as she kind of transitioned from White House days and now being, an independent person on her own, because eventually Secret Service protection ends for children of the presidents. So they were just children living their lives, and we, let them do their thing, and we do our job and make sure they're kept safe.
What did any other Secret Service men or people give you advice before you took the job in the White House?
No. So I had a friend of mine was a uniform division officer, and I met him when I was a police officer in Richmond. It was probably 2006. And so I did know somebody who worked for the agency. And of course, it was just alluring, and I knew I wanted to go more than just being a police officer. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's very noble, and forever thankful for it. But no, I didn't know anybody who was specifically a Secret Service agent who I could bounce stories off of and really get a feel for it, of what this life really is and what it meant. When
the previous president, Donald Trump, he had his Secret Service details, and some of them, rumors had it, were MAGA people. did you see any division in the Secret Service that where people were vocal about their political persuasions?
No, not really. And I was never assigned to him as a protective detail, like full time. So I was with him on the campaign in 2016, and I did his inaugural event at Union Station the eve of inauguration. That was my site. So I was knee deep in all of that. But our politics, they just don't matter. They're set to the side. You leave them at the door. We have a job to do. It doesn't matter who you like, who you voted for. It's completely irrelevant. And just like when the Pope came into town, I section of the National Mall and the Washington Monument and all that was in my zone. And I'm responsible for making sure the Pope comes in and gets out of my area. Didn't matter what religion I was or that I was a gay man, protecting the Pope. None of that's relevant. You do your job and you do it the best you can to get them out as far as out of your zone to somebody else.
How was Michelle and your gayness? Anything? You have conversations about that?
Never came up. I'm sure it was. I'm not super flamboyant. I don't know if they do or not. They probably do now. But no, we just had a great, her team. We are family, and I caught up with one of them yesterday, just outside of the Reagan International or the Reagan Airport. So it's been 4.5 years that I left, and I still was able to catch up and have coffee yesterday with one of the staff members and just catch up. And we became family because we traveled the world 60% of the time, and we're a small, tight group, and you've got to rely on each other. So it was just such a great environment, and it really had to be for us to succeed.
Let's go back to your screening and your training to be a Secret Service. Tell me that process.
18 months from the date of application until I got my start date was 18 months. And I was a pristine police officer, and I was diversified and doing all kinds of collateral duties to make sure that I was outperforming and outshining my peers to get hired federally. But man, it was a long, long process. Home interviews, home visits. They did talk to all your family members. Interviewed my ex. Polygraph that was hours long. I think that was 6 hours.
Oh my gosh!
And I came out of there feeling like an absolute dirtbag, like I had just committed so many crimes in my life. And that's just the psychology that goes into polygraphs. And so that's how they elicit information from you. And I had actually outed myself during the polygraph just due to the makeup of the questions. They had asked if I had ever done anything that brought shame to my family. And at the time, I was newly coming out and telling mom and like stepping out into my own in my personal life. And so I admitted during the polygraph that, yeah, I might have brought shame to my family because I'm gay and I came out fairly recently. And so, of course, it hurt mom. It's the process that we all have to go through. So that was, I don't want to repeat that again. It was a long process.
How about training? Tell me something about the training. Where do you train, and what are some of the things you are trained with?
The training was split into 2 different locations. You do 3 or 4 months in Georgia to get your criminal investigations under your belt. So you come out certified by the federal government as a criminal investigator / special agent. And then you would go to Maryland outside of DC on the Beltway as the Secret Service training ground. And it's, a massive spread. And then we'd spend another 4 months there of just doing high intense, anything from protection of running through scenarios of you're driving down an alley and somebody ambushes you or cuts off your motorcade and you have to figure out your way out. Use of force, ground fighting, and just working out constantly, but also, came out of there in the top fitness that I've ever been in. Like 4% body fat. It was intense. And not everybody makes it through. And that's just the nature of what it is you've got to have great quality people who can do the job. And if something goes bad, you've got to be able to get your people out of there. And not everybody makes it through. So it was tough.
During the training, did you ever think, oh, is this worth it?
No. I was in it to win it. It was what I wanted. And, bruised rib and blood, you go through it. But then at the end of the day, and, getting my, classmate of mine was 100 pounds heavier, and we were fighting each other, pinned me in a corner and just cold cocks me across the chin. And, the stars all go off in my head. I'm like, what the hell just happened? But then you learn to fight through that. And that was the whole point of this guy. Was 100 pounds heavier than me, but figuring out how to survive and how to get on the ground, get off the ground, and overcome these people that are, I'm not a massive man by any means. So it was just absolutely amazing training.
Tell me about your first time stepping on Air Force One.
Never did it.
No?
No. So on Inauguration Day in January of 2017, I had a different assignment. And so I had to get the limos out from the White House grounds out to Joint Base Andrews, which is where Air Force One and Marine One takes off and lands. And so I'm standing there waiting for them to arrive from the Capitol just after swearing in. Marine One lands, Obama and the family gets off, get on Air Force One along with all my peers, and off they go to California. And I'm standing there watching it, green with envy.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is the one opportunity I had, but I had to, woe is me. The very next day I had to go to Park City, Utah to spend time. So, it wasn't that bad. I just had a different assignment to go with one of the Obama daughters to go to the Sundance Film Festival. It was fine. It worked out great. But no, I'd never actually get on. I watched it take off and land countless times.
Oh my.
But never rode on it.
That to me, that would be disappointing. Yes.
It was a little bit.
Anything similar to that experience that you encountered, or some of the places that you got to travel to?
Man, we're all over the place. I mean, anywhere from Asia to Europe, of being on helicopters and doing sweeps around Washington, D.C., ahead of Air Force One or ahead of Marine One. And I think there's a picture out there of me on one of the helicopters. It just says pinch me moments of I'm getting paid to do this. Yeah, that was with the U.S. Park Police. And it was just normal for us to go out, and I'm getting paid to fly around DC looking for people on rooftops with grenade launchers or whatever it may be. But also standing at the foot of the stage in Paris, and Beyonce and Jay-Z are 3 feet away performing. And Miss Knowles is also to my left. And, after the show, we go backstage and hanging out with and having conversations with Jay-Z. Beyonce floats by. It's like she walks on a cloud. It was so fascinating. Going to the Grammys in 2019 of backstage with Ricky Martin and, Lady Gaga and Dolly Parton, all these icons. And I'm just standing backstage with all of them. And it's
as a gay man.
Yeah. Meeting Anderson Cooper and Leslie Jordan of those. It's these.
Yeah, there's Leslie Jordan. I had my picture taken with Leslie when he was in a show off Broadway. So let's watch some of those other pictures, Russell. Throw them up there, and we'll walk through that. Oh, who's that cute little boy?
I think I was 8 at that point. That was Air Force basic training. I actually flew home on September 10th of 2001, day before 9/11. And that's actually a more recent picture. I'm now a supervisory special agent, so I now lead a couple of teams on the West Coast. So we were out on an operation, and I believe that's where that's from. And that is the Pope in the background. That was 2015 when he was in Washington, D.C., and that was the media pen was in my zone. So all eyes were on me all day long. I had to make sure my hair looked fantastic.
And it does.
This is hiking in Malibu Hills. Michelle is extremely fit. And so we would go out and hike for 14, 15 miles. And that's me on the left. There's a machine gun on my backpack. I'm just having to go out and make sure that we are fit enough to keep up with her. But also, again, one of those things I'm getting paid to work out, and I love working out. It was such a great fit. That is at the Grammys. backstage. We were prepping right before everybody starts to go on stage and everything kicks off. I was there with Michelle in February of 2019. Well, that looks vaguely familiar. That would be my book.
When did your book come out?
We released it at the very end of March of this year. That's actually me on the cover. My fiance took that picture, and we actually designed the book, and that stuff on the back is actually, that's my stuff of my diplomatic passport and the things in the book. It was fun to design all that and have a direct hand in like what the end product was.
Of course. So what are you doing now?
I know I'm a supervisory special agent, so I'm still in federal law enforcement, and I'm thankful to lead a couple of different teams on the West Coast. So now I'm guiding and helping the next generation of special agents as they come into law enforcement, of make sure they're trained properly and make sure that we have a diverse workforce. We certainly need that. And part of the hope is that other people connect with my story and can see themselves, because law enforcement is just by its very nature, very white male dominated and hyper masculine. So being white male, that certainly has played well for me. I can't negate that that's helped me get to where I'm at. But we also need a lot of diversity brought into the profession to make sure that it represents the public in which we serve, whether it's gay, straight, African-American, Indian-American, doesn't matter. So it's great to be able to have a hand in that, as I'm now a hiring manager as well, to make sure that we're fulfilling those goals.
Was your book vetted by anyone? Did it have to go through any governmental proofreading?
No. So I walked that line really well, and I knew, okay, this will get me in trouble. This won't. I don't want to say this. No, and I've been commended by a lot of my peers, which is the highest compliment of, they really love how well I walked that line. And the book is about me. It's not about the Secret Service. It's not like a pull back the curtain, tell all the secrets. That's not at all what it is. And I knew that when I wrote it, that was not the direction I wanted to go. And so I've been very fortunate that, knock on wood, I haven't gotten in trouble yet.
All right, Russell, let's show the book one more time. All right, Breaking Free. Very good. Well, thank you so much, Cory. Your book is a great example, and I believe it is a recruiting tool for the Secret Service and other law enforcement to the gay community. So thank you very much for that.
I hope so. And thank you, Amber May, for having me on. It has been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for what you do for all of us.
All right. Thank you very much. Bye, Cory.
Take care.
Another fascinating story. Thank you, Cory. Wow. You know who else is fascinating every week here on Amber Live? Rocco Zamboni. Come on, Rocco.
Year's been a busy blur, don't think I have the energy to add to my already mad rush just cause it's 'tis the season. The perfect gift for me would be completions and connections left from last year. Ski shop encounter, most interesting, had his number but never the time. Most of 81 pass along those lines, so deck those halls, trim those trees, raise up cups at Christmas cheer. I just need to catch my breath, Christmas by myself this year. Picture frozen landscape, chilled this room for 24 days. Evergreen, sparkling snow. Get this one Flashback to springtime, saw him again. Would have been good to go for lunch. Couldn't agree, we were both free. We tried, we said we'd keep in touch. Didn't, of course, till summertime. Out to the beach to his boat, could I join him? No, this time it was me. Sunburn in the 3rd degree. Now the calendar's just one page, of course I am excited. Tonight's the night I've set my mind not to do too much about it. Dashing through the snow, cause I bundled up too tight. Last minute, had to do a few cards, a few calls because it's RSVP. No thanks, no party lights, it's Christmas Eve. Gonna relax, turn down all of my invites. Last fall, I had a night to myself. Same guy called, Halloween party. Waited all night for him to show. This time his car wouldn't go. Forget it, it's cold, it's getting late. Try to run home to celebrate in a quiet way. Unwind, doing business right this time. He has provided me with the world's smallest turkey, already in the oven, nice and hot. Oh damn, guess what I forgot? So on with the boots, back out in the snow to the only all-night grocery. When what to my wondering eyes should appear in the line is that guy I've been chasing all year. And this one alone, he said, the break this year's been crazy. I said me too, but why are you? You mean you forgot cranberries too? Then suddenly we laughed and laughed, caught on to what was happening. That Christmas magic's brought this tale to a very happy ending.
Well, if that doesn't put you in the Christmas mood, I don't know what would. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back next week. Until then, here's Boog and Shug.
December has arrived. You know what that means?
Presents, Santa, candy.
No! It means we're finally through eating those damn turkey leftovers.